Yeah. We've got definitely a few. I know we talked about analyzing some deals today. I know a few people in the Facebook group have said they want that, and we are going to do that. And just to clarify, guys, I know we've been over this, and some of you, I guess, get it, and some of you don't or misunderstood. We can't look at all of your offers. It's absolutely impossible, right? Obviously, we want you to do 5 a day, 25. We can't look at them all. The goal of this is to get you out of education mode from the get-go coming in. We're not going to be, even though we have been teaching this week, but we're not teaching. We're trying to get you just to take action with the simple steps we've given you to make offers. Your offers are probably wrong, and that's great, okay, because they're going to get better. You're going to understand it more. And I know a few of you have been, I wouldn't say freaking out, but are like, hey, when are you going to review our offers? Well, we're not going to be reviewing all the offers, but we are going to start reviewing a few offers, for example, so then you'll work it into your own offer. And I think that's, Joe, what we said and what we should definitely do this morning.
Totally. Like one of the things we did say is we will review your contracts. Like, so if you get it under contract,
yeah,
and the seller signs your offer, we will review it and maybe partner with you on it. But we can't review all of the offers. But listen, that's the goal of these calls, is to review offers, review your leads. So if you've got a lead that, and we can look at it, we will. But all the rest of you, while you're watching that, you're going to learn. All right, that makes sense. That's how they do it. That's a good idea. I'm going to do that instead now, right? So the next 3 weeks as we go forward, we're going to be meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. And all we want to do, my whole goal on those 3 calls is to review your offers, review your leads as much as we can. So when you submit them, we only may get 1 or 2 or 3 every morning. Depends on how many you guys can submit or not. But that's what we want to do. So we're getting some good questions here. That one lady who was asking about her offers, did you know where it was, or?
Yeah, let me see. She's on. Hold on. I know exactly.
I think it was Catherine, right?
No, it was Shelly.
Shelly.
Let me see here if Shelly's on. Shelly.
I see her.
Shelly is on.
2 Shellys.
Yes, 2 Shellys. Which Shelly was it? Shelly, you know which Shelly you are. So stick an offer in. If you want to put the address and what offer you made, try and do it all in one message before you press enter. Give us all the details, because otherwise it take us forever trying to search.
While Shelly is putting that in here, I'm going to answer a couple questions that people have typed into the chat. Good morning, Joe and Gavin. Question: I'm in New York, where property taxes are really high. My prediction, by the way, Brent, is New York is in for a big housing downturn. People just want to get out of the city. And I think I see this across the country. I may be wrong, but I think what I see happening is people moving away from high densely populated areas into the suburbs, into the country, into where there's more space and more land. Taxes are so high in New York City. Yeah, there's a lot of work there. There's a lot of activity, a lot of stuff going on. But I don't see taxes going down anytime soon. I don't see California, New York cutting taxes anytime soon. I see the opposite. They're going to say, oh, crap, look what this recession has done. Nobody's paid any sales tax the last month. Nobody's paid any gas tax. We've not got any travel industry, hotel taxes lately. We've not gotten any taxes from Uber and taxis. We've not gotten any taxes from et cetera, et cetera. You go down the list, and these governments are going to be like, crap, what are we going to do now? And they're not going to have any choice but to raise taxes. The government can't bail every state and every city out in the country. So I see people moving out of New York. All right, so that wasn't your question, but I'm just throwing in my 2 cents in there. So Brent is asking, though, what kind of strategy can we use here? Well, I would say if you want to do deals in New York, because New York is different, you have to have an attorney on both sides of the transaction, right? They don't use title companies. They have an attorney, so that when you make an offer to a seller, the offer has to be sent to an attorney. And the attorneys many times jack it all up because they're like, oh, you can get more than that. That's ridiculous. Don't accept that. That's not right. So here's what I would say. If you want to do deals in New York, find somebody who's already doing deals in New York, who's already got the relationships with with an attorney, and find out what they're looking for, and then go find it for them. Does that make sense? Go find somebody who's already doing deals and just kind of partner with them, ride on their coattails, as it were, right? And see what they're looking for, and then go find it for them, and then can partner with you on your deals. One of the things, this is really important, I'm going to be talking about this a lot over the next few months. One of the things that's really, really important, if you want to succeed and do a lot of wholesaling, and I'm recommending in this market going forward, you focus on the quick nickel rather than the slow dime. The wholesalers that are going to succeed are the ones that are going to be able to put together packages to their end buyers of, all right, here's a deal, but not only here's a deal, here's some private money, here's a local bank that will lend on the deal if you meet this criteria. Here are 3 property management companies. Here are 3 contractors that can help you. So that's going to be real important going forward. It's not going to be like it was before. It may be for a few little while, but going forward, I think as the housing market downturns, there'll still be buyers out there, right? But the buyers are going to be more picky and selective because there's going to be fewer buyers, right? And the buyers that are out there are going to be wanting less for their properties. So this is the point I want to make. These end buyers are looking for good deals. And a good deal just isn't price. A good deal is also financing. So if you can find a deal from a seller on a lease purchase or an owner financing contract where the seller's doing some financing, you'll be able to sell those all day long. And remind me, Gavin, I'm going to write this down. The double dip.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the double dip strategy here. This is going to become more and more important going forward. So you need to present your deals, the ones that can present some kind of creative deals with financing in place to end buyers are going to crush it going forward. A lot of hard money lenders are pulling out. I've already pulled out of the market. A lot of the lending companies that lent to investors have pulled their money out of the market. Pretty much, if you don't have private money, it's going to be hard, or the cash, it's going to be hard for you. It's going to be harder for you to buy or sell your properties. You understand what I'm saying? So Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. Now this is a new opportunity for you to find creative deals. Find deals that have financing in place, either seller financing or lease purchase, or find private lenders that are willing to lend, or local banks. See, as the dust settles here, one of the things I would encourage you to do is go around and find local banks that are willing to lend to investors. But hear me out. Find the local banks that are willing to lend to investors and just ask them, all right, so if you're willing to lend, what's your criteria? And they'll tell you, all right, well, we need a minimum credit score of 750. I don't know. They need to have at least 25% down, so the max we'll do is 75% loan to value. They need to have like a minimum amount of money in the bank, maybe in our bank, and they have to do debt to income, maximum price that they'll lend, and all of that, right? So then what you do, guys, is you put that together, get a brochure, and you've got the property details, and then to the right of the page you have, and here is a bank that will lend on this deal. Here is the seller financing that's in place. This is a lease purchase, and spell out the terms that any investor can either borrow money based on these terms for that deal, or can just take over the financing on these deals. I'm telling you, this is going to be super important if you want to sell deals lightning fast and still make $10,000 to $15,000 assignment fees on the higher end. You need to be able to offer financing to your end buyers. Does that make sense? So there's this double dip strategy. I don't know, you can't see that. Double dip strategy is really cool. Let's say you get a motivated seller. The sellers have to be motivated. So many of you are saying, well, it's not working. I'm doing the marketing and all I'm talking to is property managers, and the sellers, they want 20% down on their property. You can only do deals with motivated sellers. So that's why we're saying make 5 offers a day. And 100 offers in a month or 100 offers in a couple months, you're going to find motivated sellers. All right. They're out there. And you find them through the follow-up. Very important. You find them through the follow-up. All right. So double dip. From a motivated seller, you offer a sandwich lease option. There's some cash flow. There's some equity in there. It's more important to have the cash flow right now, right? They say, great, you do it, you get it under contract. You're going to put a tenant buyer in the property, and you're going to collect $5 to $10 grand from that tenant buyer. It's a sandwich lease option. You're staying in the middle, but you don't want to make a slow dime in this market. You want to make a quick nickel, right? So after you get the tenant buyer in place, then sell that package deal to another investor for another $5 to $10 grand. I was interviewing a big active landlord the other day, and I said, listen, if I could get a property under contract, owner financing or lease purchase that was cash flowing $300 a month after property management, after expenses, taxes, insurance, vacancies, maintenance, repairs, whatever, after savings, it was cash flowing $300 a month. Would you buy that contract for $10,000? He said, all day long. Are you kidding me? Why? Look at the numbers. Calculator, 300 times 12, $3,600 a year. Let's just say it's 200. 200 times 12, 200 net dollars a month in cash flow. It's $2,400 a year, right? Divided by $10,000. What's my ROI on that money? 24% cash on cash return. 24% cash on cash return, all right? So you can sell. Now that landlord, they're used to spending 75, 80 grand to get $200 a month cash flow. And you're giving them the opportunity to get $200 a month cash flow with only 10 grand. And they don't have to go and get a loan, borrow money, which is hard to do now. So now you're going to make 5 to 10 grand from the tenant buyer and 5 to 10 grand from the investor. You've just double dipped. You've just gotten $10,000 to $20,000 for putting together a creative deal. All right. So just be thinking about this. When you're selling your deals, how can you make your deals more attractive to the end buyers? One of the best ways to make these deals attractive to the investor buyers out there is to have creative financing in place, a lease purchase, a seller financing, or whatever. Now, you can stay in the middle of those deals if you want. That might be a good idea. But I don't know, man. I would rather make a quick 20 grand by just selling those deals off. And you could do 1 or 2 of those a month. So just be thinking of wholesaling, not just in terms of getting a property at a deep discount for cash and then trying to wholesale or sell that contract. Be thinking of, how can I offer this with financing? Does that make sense? I want you guys to understand that that's going to be really, really important as a strategy going forward if you want to succeed and make a ton of money over the next year or 2 years. All right. Good. So that I bring back to Brent's question about New York. Find the investors that are already doing deals in New York, and then find out what they're looking for and partner with them, because then you can use their attorneys and all that. The second thing I'll add to that, if you're in a difficult state like New York, you've got at least 5 other states that touch New York. You can go outside of New York state. You have the entire United States in your backyard. So there's nothing that's stopping you from doing deals in Oklahoma. Let me tell you something. It's easier to wholesale a deal in Oklahoma than it is in New York. A cash deal. So why are you staying in New York? Look at Oklahoma, look at Indiana. Don't ignore the small towns. There is so much opportunity right now in small towns. Cool.
Yep. Awesome.
Let's go. Did Shelly?
Yeah, I texted you the address and the offer, so it didn't get lost.
All right, so let's.
And also, Steve Zimmer just said that he's got 3 contracts this week. Awesome, Steve. We had a good coaching call yesterday, and we actually just released it on making offers on Zillow, running comps on Zillow, which was good.
My doctor advised me to buy a 12-pack of Corona beer to beat the virus. So guess what we did last night? That's Steve Zimmer.
Of course.
You got 3. I'm gonna look at. I got to screenshot this, guys. Woo! I screenshot all these little testimonials we get, and I save them in a Evernote. Man, that is so cool. I love it.
Awesome job.
All right.
I know you got some more questions, guys. We'll get to it. We're going to try and pull this property up.
All right. So yeah, we got a property here. Where I lost. Here it is. All right. The address was 514 Corinne.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to share my screen here.
$1,200 a month. Yeah, I found it.
All right, so this is the property. Let's open it up in the map. So Shelly wants to make an offer.
She's already made the offer. She was analyze her numbers. So in that text I gave you, that's what she made.
This looks like Florida. Looks like Central Florida. I'm just guessing. I don't know where Lehigh Acres is. Let's see.
Did you get Shelly's numbers?
Yeah.
To pull up? Yeah.
So this is way down there. Cool. Cape Coral. Probably near Fort Myers. Way out in the suburbs. I'm going to guess this house is worth 150. I'm just guessing. And yeah, I was almost right. Okay, so she made 3 different offers: a cash offer, lease purchase offer, and a lease option assignment offer. All right, so I'm going to open up. Remember that special Google Drive folder we have for our offers? Come on. I have this calculator. If you want to offer lease options, I like this calculator. Again, you can do this from a pen and paper. All right. You don't have to use this calculator. I'm going to take this property here. I'm going to look it up on Zillow, Redfin, Express.realquest, Realtor.com, and PropStreamJoe.com. Oh, and also ePraisal. PropStreamJoe.com. They made some pretty good, cool changes recently where you can get comps now from the MLS and county records, and it lets you pick between the two.
Nice.
All right, so let me just start putting the addresses in here. All of these are free except for PropStream Joe. PropStream Joe is $97 a month. So this property is currently advertising for rent $1,200 a month. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,300 square feet. It's vacant. It's been on Zillow for 69 days, almost 2.5 months. Maybe the seller's getting motivated, huh? And it's listed by a broker, maybe. So Shelly maybe texted them, Skip Trace, the owner, sent a letter. I don't know. But they said, yeah, we'd consider an offer. All right, so I like to look at these numbers here. ePraisal says 147,486. 147. All right. Zillow 143,883. 143,883. Redfin says 112,294. 112,294. PropStream Joe. Again, PropStreamJoe.com. You should check it out. You get a free 7-day trial. I'm going to show you the new thing it's doing now. It's just pretty cool. So I click details on the property here. You can see who owns it. Oh, there's a lien. This is why I like PropStream. There's a lien on it for $224 and $484. So something's going on with the seller. Senior Enforcement Specialists, Lee County Code. It's a county tax lien, county city tax lien. Weed abatement. Unpaid sewer. So something's going on with this, right? And I don't know how old those are. Does it say anywhere in here? February 2020. Yeah. October 2019. February 29th. So some of these are old. I don't know what's going on, but that can be all taken care of. These are just, maybe total $1,000. Those can be taken care of at closing. It's not coming out of your pocket. The owner's paying for it, right? It says owner occupied, which is interesting. Vacant. The owner has owned it for 10 years. I know it may be hard to see that. You can find the MLS details. It shows as active on for rent. So it's listed by an agent. You can see the agent's information down here. You get the agent's phone number and the agent's email, which is another reason why I love PropStream. You get the realtor's information here. So you can call them or email them, right? And you can see the mortgage history. There hasn't been a mortgage on it. So they show estimated equity here, about $138,000. So there's some good equity in it. And when you look at comps right here, this is brand new. You can look at data as public record, MLS, or both. So you click on both, and it automatically gives you like plus or minus 200 or 300 square feet in the last year, half mile, status sold, and you get some really good comps here. And you can take this and sort it by price. Remember we were looking at the other day of like how you can take the lowest 3 or 4? And some of these, yeah, they all have 3 bedrooms. I'm just looking here. Now, I ignore these outliers, 11,000, 20,000, 33. I hope you can see it. I know it's small, but I'm looking here now. Okay, 107, 107, 127, 130, 130, 130. Just tells me kind of an idea what maybe they're selling for, right? Now, this is really good data. You can't get this in REI Simple. But, if you wanted to, also you could, once you get it under contract, you can click cash buyers and see all of the cash buyers in that neighborhood right here. All right, anyway. PropStream says it's worth $138,281. That's their estimate for value. Realtor.com. Sometimes they don't give a quote if it's listed for rent on the MLS or if it's listed for sale. So it just shows you what the median listing price is. One of the things that's interesting too with Realtor.com is they'll give you the median rental price, $1,349. I'm just going to remember that here, $1,349. I'm going to put that right here, $1,349. All right. And then RealQuest Express, $144. So what's interesting here is looking at the average, it's 137, pretty low, but that's because Redfin has some crazy estimate of 112 in here. So sometimes I go with the median. That removes the outliers, right? Or if I just go in and delete the Redfin number, let's do 143 as my ARV. This part of Florida, maybe 75%. Square footage, I think, was 1,322. Does it need any money for repairs? Looking at these pictures, I don't think so. It's rent ready, right? So I'm going to do 0. I want to make, somebody asked earlier, what kind of profit should I shoot for? I always try to shoot for a minimum of $10,000. Okay. So my cash offer is going to be about 97,250. That's what I'm going to go for. And that's a little bit more than what Shelly said. So fine, go with the lower number. If you don't feel that pit in the stomach, like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, the seller's going to be mad, and you don't feel uncomfortable with your cash offer, then you're offering too much. This is where you can do, if you wanted to, the average of the lowest four. I'm not going to worry about that. Market rents, was it PropStream or Realtor.com said about 1350. PropStream also gives you market rents estimate here, 1312. All right, so that's interesting. I'm going to put that right there. And then I like to look at what Zillow, they're advertising 1200. So this is a good point. They're advertising 1200. These other sites say 1300. What am I going to use? I'm going to use the lower one.
Yep.
And the other thing is, let's just put that in here. One of the things I like to do is when I'm here at Zillow, look at my competition. What are similar other properties renting for? Why isn't this one rented for 1200? It's been on the market for over 2 months. What's going on? Well, the coronavirus, but let's go here and look at, because now is the time you want to be a little conservative, right? Let's do 3+ bedrooms, only houses. All right. And there's one property here. I'm going to zoom out. Only one still. I'm going to zoom out again. I'm going to remove boundary. I'm sorting this here from low to high. There's 6 properties here. Let me zoom out again. Now I have 14 results. This one's 1200, 1200, 1350, 1400, 1400. So I feel good with 1200.
Yeah, mate.
Let's just stay there. Now, these houses are kind of on the other side of this busy street here. I don't know if these are nicer, newer homes. All right, we'll just stay with 1200. So that means I want at least 25% of the rent for cash flow. I want at least $300 a month cash flow. I want at least 15% equity. 5 years, I'll put $1,000 down on a sandwich lease option. So my first conversation with the seller is going to be sandwich lease option. I'll take care of the maintenance and repairs. You don't have to worry about anything. And I would offer 121, 900 a month in rent. I'll put $1,000 down, 5 years. Now the cool thing about the sandwich lease option, guys, if they say no, I have to have 130 for it. Well, you can give them 130, maybe lower the rent, maybe extend the term, maybe lower the down payment, option deposit. Maybe negotiate some rent credits. I have students that have negotiated $1,000 a month rent credits. I have another student who negotiated, I'll keep 100% of the rent for the first 2 years. I won't pay you anything for the first 2 years. In the next 3 years, I'll pay you 50% of the rent that I'm collecting. So you can negotiate price or terms. If the seller is stuck, no, I have to make at least $1,200 a month in rent to pay my mortgage. Well, maybe you can offer them an option of $90,000, $100,000. So I was talking to Todd Toback, a friend of ours in San Diego, and he's got a property right now that he's negative cash flow $800 a month. Now, would you take that deal? Negative $800 a month? No, but guess what? It's owner financing, principal only payments. And he's paying $2,000 a month, I think, for this house. This is San Diego. Every month, he's paying down $2,000 towards principal. He owes $45,000 right now, and he's been doing this for the last 3 or 4 years, I think, on this property. He owes $45,000 on a house that's worth $450,000.
Yeah.
Right. He's doing pretty well going negative $800 a month cash flow. My whole point is you can negotiate price or terms, right? All right, let's say the seller says, no, I have to get 140 for it. You say, all right, well, I can. So these are my 3 offers: 97 cash, 121 sandwich lease option, 140 lease option assignment, $1,200 a month in rent. I'll put $10 down. Maybe you could do $100 if you wanted. All right.
Yeah.
And that's it. So let's see how that compares to what she did. She offered.
She pretty much got it right on, except for rent. The rent in the last option was the only mistake.
1,800. What
yeah.
happened there? That might have been a typo.
Yeah.
You don't want to pay. You don't want to offer the seller 1,800 a month in rent when it can't. It's only going to rent for 1,200. That's what they're asking for right now. Give it to them. But really good, Shelley.
Yeah, everything else within a few thousand is really good, and the only thing you need to change there, in my opinion, is obviously the rent on the last option needs to be at 12, not 800, 1,800. The term's fine. You could do 2 years, and your option payment you have 500. You could do 100. I mean, it's that small things.
And that money that you put down doesn't come from you. It comes from the tenant buyer. It's not money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Let me say something too. When you're negotiating lease option assignment deals like this, if the seller is, let me just say this, you could maybe even do this just to start out with, but offer to partner with the seller and say, listen, I'll split the assignment fee. I'll split the option consideration with you. You get 50, I get 50%. I mean, how could they say no to that? These lease option assignments are sometimes called cooperative assignments. You cooperate with the seller. And you could say, listen, Mr. Seller, if you want to do a lease option, there's 2 ways we can do this. I could do it all myself, but I'm going to keep 100% of the option deposit as my assignment fee. So I'm going to try to get, $6,000 or $7,000 for this house, but I'm going to keep all of that. Or if you want to help me, we can partner on this together and split it 50-50.
Yep.
Then what happens? Then you could say, I'll need you to send me pictures. I'll need you to help me coordinate the showings. You got a property manager. Go ahead. You have to figure it out with them. I don't want to talk to them. And so you can get the seller to cooperate with you. And the seller has to pay any agent commissions or whatever like that. But you can cooperate with them and do like a joint venture. Use the same paperwork. But I know a guy, I interviewed him out of Australia, and that's all of his deals are done that way. All of them. And he just negotiates really good smoking hot deals. And when you're offering to partner with the seller, you could take this and say, listen, let's do a sandwich lease option. And I'll split the cash flow and the equity with you 50-50. So your profit on this sandwich lease option right here, if you look on the next tab of the spreadsheet, you're going to make about, that doesn't sound right. 33. Okay. You're going to sell this. You're going to sell this property for 147 and you're going to sell this property for 150 in 3 years. Okay. And you're going to get about $300 a month in cash flow. Is that right? Yeah. And you're going to buy it from the seller for 121. Now maybe you can negotiate that. If they owe, I think they only owe 20, 30,000 or something. I don't remember because the loan is old. So you could say, well, listen, we'll do this. I'll buy it. We'll do an option for 100,000.
Yeah. And this here, guys, just to throw out, and this is just my opinion, you only really want to really dive into this section when it's coming back and you're getting it signed. Don't do it just on the offer side because it's good to know, but until it gets signed, it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You can tweak and change this if it gets a signature.
So what I'm showing here is like, maybe you can negotiate a discount in the price with the seller. So, if you negotiate a lower price or maybe some monthly rent credits and your total profit at the end of the day is 50 grand, maybe you could split that. You keep the cash flow. It's all negotiable. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds here, but I probably already confused a lot of you guys. So I'm sorry about that. Got it. I can't switch. All right, here we go. Are we good?
Yeah, she said, thank you so much. Someone's just threw another one. Anton's just threw another one up if you want to do another one.
Yeah, let's do it.
You'll see just in the last 2 comments there. You can drag it.
All right. The address is this. It's in Dublin, Ohio. He says the ARV is 600,000. He offered $2,500 a month, 100 down, 10 years. Currently rented at $3,500 a month. Dublin, Ohio. Okay, it's in Columbus. I'm just trying to get a feel for where it is.
Robert Taylor, I just answered your question.
It's on a golf course. Backs to a golf course, and here's the street view.
And the golf course is on the PGA Tour, he said, so it must be a good area.
I wonder if it's a new construction or not. The grass looks crazy. For a house this nice, I'm surprised they don't have landscaping, irrigation. All right, but regardless. Here we go. I want to, trying to get back to here we go. I'm going to take this address, copy it. I'm just going to paste it in all of these things I was at. Well, they have done some landscaping then. This is a newer picture. Levin Links? That's a weird name, huh? Liven. So on a property in this price range, do you think you're going to offer a cash offer at 70 cents on the dollar? Probably not. Somebody's asking to repeat his numbers. ARV, he's saying, is $600,000. He offered $2,500 a month, $100 down, 10-year term. Currently rented at $3,500 a month. So are you trying to do, Antoine, a sandwich lease option where you're staying in the middle? All right, yes. So Zillow appraisal 484, 153. I already forgot what I said. 484, 153. 484, 153. Zillow 605, 275. 605, 275. And when you get in this price range, it's harder to get good estimates from these places. 605, 814. So unless you know it really well, I'd be careful on a sandwich lease option. Now, there's no mortgage on this. Maybe not. No, it looks like there was a divorce. Not sure. They've owned it for 13 years, 8 months. Corporate owner. Who owns it? 11 Links LLC. That's the name of the street. Their mailing address is in Powell, Ohio, so it's an absentee owner, corporate owner. They've owned it for 11 months. It was listed. Oh, this is interesting, right? It was listed for $625, and its status has failed. It means it expired or they didn't sell it, and now they're renting it. But anyway, prop stream is 623, 526. Realtor.com, Realtor.com is 618, 400. RealQuest Express, 587. All right, so what do you do? Well, look at appraisal here. That's the big outlier. Maybe I'll just go ahead and delete that. Or just look at the median. Let's go with 605 as the ARV. Oh, shoot. Let's go to 605 as the ARV, okay? 605. That's what I might do. Now, for a cash offer, you're going to see how ridiculous this maybe gets on a property on the higher end like this. 3,200 square feet. It's a really nice house. It doesn't help to have 3 pictures of the same pictures on your listings, by the way, in case any of you wondered. Nice, beautiful views. I would not want to live on a golf course. Personally, people be always in my backyard looking in my house while they're playing golf. When you played golf, Gavin, you never tried to look inside other people's houses and in their windows, did you?
No, of course not. Of course not. Focused on the game ahead.
This is a beautiful house. Beautiful house. You know, the other thing, Antoine, I want to ask you is, like, what did the seller say they wanted? Now, this is only a 3-bedroom. It might be fine, but that might also hurt you.
Yeah, it's a big house for only a 3-bed.
But, you know, I bet you there's, something in the basement maybe where they could turn it into a bedroom if they wanted.
Yeah.
Or an office. It could be a bedroom. But anyway, okay, what's the rent estimate? Rent estimate here. Home value. Usually you can find it by clicking here.
Keep going all the way down. It's there.
3683. I'm just going to put that right here. 3683 rent. And then PropStream says the rent estimate is 2,600. You know, if you haven't checked out Rentometer, you should check out rentometer.com. Put in the address. 3 beds. So my rent's a little high. They're saying the average is 2,500, median, kind of on the high end, but you know, it is on the golf course. It's kind of hard to get rent estimates in this area. So the next thing I'm going to do is real quick, I'm going to see what other properties are currently listed for rent. Just start zooming out. Zoom out. Now remember, ours was how many square feet? 3,200. This one's currently marketing for 3,200, 6,900, but that's huge, way bigger. So you got to think, why would somebody want to rent my house for 3,200 when they can rent this one for 3,200, which is bigger, more bedrooms? You know, I don't know. So let's just stick with 3,200. I think, didn't Antoine say the seller is currently renting it for 3,500 a month?
Yeah.
So is there a tenant in it right now?
Yes, there is.
And then when does their lease expire? 9 more months. Well, first of all, there's not much you can do for 9 months.
Yeah.
What you might, geez, because unless that current tenant, here's the problem, and sometimes you get this question. There's a tenant in there, and the tenant wants to do a lease option, but here's the thing: you're going to have to negotiate with the tenant buyer as well as the seller. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to negotiate a purchase price with that tenant buyer, see what they're willing to pay, and the chances of you getting another 10, 20 grand option deposit down payment from them is slim to none because they're already in the house. Why do they want to pay you an extra 10, 20 grand?
Yeah. For me, what I would do on this, if that was up in 9 months, I would do 7 months, a task for 7 months follow-up.
Yeah.
and check in 2 months early and see how it's going, and then follow up with a month to go and see if they're going to go on month to month or are they leaving. And if it's, oh no, they're definitely leaving, then start prepping and ready to go for the transition. That's what I would personally do.
Yeah. So what price does the seller want? I think Antoine wrote 550. Sometimes in this price range, you might want to be more conservative. So I'm looking for, I'm adjusting this number to give me something in between the cash and the lease option assignment. So this is where it's hard to get values and comps. You need to talk to the seller and ask them, what's the least you'd take for it? And, if I think you wrote 550, that's what they would be willing to sell it for. That's definitely too high for a cash offer, in my opinion. Right? So that might be a good owner finance. I mean, that might be a lease option assignment offer that you give to him. But you're gonna have to wait until the tenant moves out. So I might, on a house this nice, I might offer more than $100. How am I going to make money on this lease option assignment, by the way? Because a lot of people ask that. Well, what's 3% of 500? It's 15 grand. I'm going to try to get at least a $15,000 assignment fee, right? So I'm going to advertise the property for 550 plus 15,000. I'm going to advertise it for 565 and 3,500 a month in rent. And I want a $15,000 option deposit, 2 years. That's how I'm going to advertise it. Simple. Understand? So if the seller does my lease option assignment in 7 or 8, 9 months, after the tenant is out of the house, I'm going to give the seller a contract for 550, 3,500 a month in rent. Maybe I'll put 1,000 down to make it more attractive or something. 2 years. And then I'm going to turn around and advertise it for 565, 3,500 a month in rent, $15,000 down. How did I get that 565? I see somebody asking that. I just take 550 plus 15,000. And on this kind of a house too, you could tell the seller if he's hard to negotiate with or whatever. You could split this 50-50.
And this is also, in Ohio where the median price is going to be way lower. So your pool of buyers looking to do a lease option is going to be smaller. Not that it can't be done. We definitely need to be more patient.
Franz brings up a good question here, but I want to challenge your assumption because a lot of you are thinking this. Most likely the seller will not accept $2,500 a month while they're getting $3,500. How do you know that?
Yeah, and the rule number 1, never assume anything.
So how do you know that? If you tell them, I'll take care of all the vacancies, maintenance, and repairs, you don't have to worry about anything. Maybe they would take $2,500 a month for that. Like, all right, fine. You're going to worry about the maintenance and repairs and the vacancies, and all I need to do is collect $2,500 a month. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So you just never know. You still have to offer it.
Yeah. And if this would have been if the renter was in place and this would have been off market and like a buy and hold property, then you can still sell it with the renter in place for cash or owner finance, or even a sandwich lease option if you personally want to take the house down. So don't think that's the case every time. But on a house like this, you're going to have less cash buyers wanting to pay cash at this price in Ohio for sure. You're going to have less people that want to take a sandwich lease option in a place like Ohio because the payments are so high and they're not used to that. So there's a few things that you need to look at, but that's more of an experience conversation. Again, right now, just keep making the offers. Doing great.
Yeah, and somebody asked here, why such a low option fee and why not a bit more? Yeah, I mean, you could probably on a nice house like this on a golf course, you could probably get 20 grand option deposit. But here's the thing, I wouldn't advertise that. If you're trying to get that big of an option deposit from a tenant buyer, I probably wouldn't advertise that. I would just advertise option deposit required, ask for details, call for details, right? And then it becomes this like a negotiating thing with the tenant buyers. Well, we need an option deposit. How much do you need? Well, it depends. How much do you have? Well, I don't know. What do you want? Just how quickly do you want to, how badly do you want to buy this house? You know, um, what's your situation? And I go kind of negative and pull back away from the tenant buyers, just like I do with the sellers. Why don't you just go get a mortgage and buy the house right now? Why are we even talking? Why do you even want to lease option this thing? Why don't you just go get a mortgage and buy the property? Well, whatever, find out their situation. They have some judgments against on their credit, some foreclosures, whatever. We're going to start seeing more and more of this, guys. Pay attention here. As we go forward, we're going to see more and more people with bad credit because of what's going on right now. Okay. Business failures, foreclosures, evictions, but don't let that discourage you. Okay. Don't let that discourage you, because those people, who can afford a house like this, they have money. They may have bad credit, but they've got money. And in those nicer homes, I am making a mistake to only try to get 15. I should try to get 20 or 25. And they are out there. I've done a lease option on a house, and I'm not going to tell you how much I put down, but I put a lot more than that on a lease, and I bought the house. But so it's like, and the house was a lot more expensive, but like, there are people out there with that money. Okay. Don't be afraid or think that they don't have it, because there's going to be a lot of people with bad credit. And the cool thing here, this is the cool thing about this, guys, with a lease option assignment, you're not obligated in any way to make payments or actually close on the deal, right? If you can't find a good tenant buyer and whenever your contract expires, you just cancel it. You're not taking it off the market. You're not tying it up. If you can't find a good tenant buyer, well, you just, lost a little bit of time. You didn't lose any money. So,
Ricky, I just lost your question, Ricky. Hold on. Sorry.
Steve said it's Dublin. It's more of who you know than what you know. I guess it's a pretty posh area. They probably nickname it the slums of Columbus, I'm guessing, right? This whole area of Dublin around the golf course, they probably nickname it the slums of Columbus, Ohio.
Ricky said,
I got an LOL from Antoine. I nailed it.
Why couldn't you still do the lease option assignment for 2 years to lock up the deal, then in 9 months find a tenant buyer? Well, because obviously if you're locking up, when we say if you're using the short offer form, it's a non-exclusive agreement anyway. And so much can happen in 9 months that it's going to be probably pointless doing it, because they can cancel or do whatever they want anyway. So, and then it's only nearer and they don't probably know at this point if the tenant's going to stay month to month. Are they going to renew another year? And then that comes down to the motivation of how quickly they actually want to sell this. So there's so many things that could go on. It's probably too difficult to make.
Yeah, let me say something too. Gene brought up a good question here. How about we look for 20K, but then take a little less and the rest in monthly payments? I just did a role playing with Claude Diamond yesterday. It was really good in the lease options coaching call. And we did a role play with a buyer and asked them, how much do you have? Well, how much do you need? Well, how bad do you want this house? Going back and forth, and and then Claude said, well, we're looking for somebody who's got at least, I forget the number, 10 grand or whatever. How much do you have now? And so then you can negotiate with them. How much do they have now? How much would you be, if I was willing to finance the rest for you, what's the most you could pay per month? And you can negotiate that with the tenant buyers, and you can create really good monthly income from notes, from promissory notes. I know guys that do this. I've not done a lot of this myself. I've done it before, but I know guys that create 5 figures a month or more from notes on lease option deals. So they'll try to get 10 grand. They find somebody that only has 5, right? And then they create a note for the next 12 to 24 months of a couple $100, $300 to pay the rest, right? And you could do that certainly on some of these nicer homes and do really, really well. In my lease options course, I give you examples of this and give you promissory notes. All right, guys, we only have about 5 more minutes. Somebody's asking, where do you advertise a house like this? The same places everyone else does that we've talked about before: signs, Craigslist, Zillow, Facebook Marketplace, and signs. Did I mention signs?
Signs, yeah.
And then signs, and then signs, and then signs, because signs work. Yeah. Now, in a neighborhood like this, don't put a sign out there that says rent to own, bad credit, okay. When banks say no, we say yes. Like that, you just don't do that. Just say, lease, purchase, phone number. Like that's all you need to do. Rent to own. Sometimes I'm a little more sensitive in the nicer areas, the kind of sign I put in the front yard. But in the neighborhood, you could do rent to own, 5% moves you in, phone number, something like that, right? But signs work really, really well, better than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Antoine said, no, you will go to jail in Dublin for a sign saying that bad credit is okay. Steve is asking, is the note secured? No. For the tenant buyer who doesn't have all the money, I'm not sure, Steve, I understand. What if you can't find a tenant buyer right away and we have to pay a couple months in rent? You don't, Jason. That's the whole point of the way we do our lease options. If you can't find a tenant buyer, you don't go through the deal. And that's why we don't tie it up. So the seller can still market and advertise it. If the seller sells it or leases it on their own, they cancel our agreement.
Yep.
We're going through the questions here.
Just one thing I want to tell everyone while we have people on still. On Sunday, at some point, we're going to post a Google sheet that's going to be like a scorecard for you to put your numbers in. Okay. And this is just going to basically, you're going to put the number in, press submit, and it'll probably just say thank you. And that's it. You're not going to see anything else. If you don't have to fill all the columns out other than sellers talked to and offers made. And once you've done that, you'll do it for the obviously for this week on Sunday or Monday. So Sunday and Monday it's going to be up. On Tuesday morning it'll disappear. Then it will go back up on Sunday and Monday for the previous week. So just to let you know, so watch out for it. It's going to go up. We'll answer any questions on Monday regarding it. We probably won't be too active on Sunday in the Facebook group if it's not working, even though it should work, because I will test it. You just fill it out. If you don't know what to put where, just put sellers talk to and offers made, right? That's it. Forget the other marketing, or if your marketing isn't there or whatever, don't worry about that. We're just tracking them key actions.
Somebody is asking here real quick, just a few more questions. Somebody is asking about, why don't you just do a lease option with the tenant in there? We already talked about that, but you're going to it's going to be hard for you to convince the tenant to give you another 15, 20 grand option deposit up front and then negotiate a good price with them. It's just, I've never gotten that to work. Somebody else asked here, I have a realtor complaint to a realtor board that I was doing unlicensed activity. So were you, Rick? What were you doing? Curious. Remember, with lease options, we always approach our lease option deals as an investor. We're looking for a property for our own investment portfolio.
Yep.
And we hire realtors to market and advertise our properties for us. So we're not doing any unlicensed activity. Now, in Illinois, there's issues there. They're saying even to wholesale, you have to have a license. So get your license. Or, again, find a realtor to market and advertise your properties for you. But always approach your deals, cash or owner financing or lease options, as I'm an investor and I'm looking for deals for myself. There is no law that says you have to have a license to buy a property by owner. And there's no law that says you have to sell a property and you have to have a license to sell a property for sale by owner. But I'm just curious, Rick, what happened here? Tell us a little bit more about it. And we just got another minute here. Leanna is asking, if there is a real estate agent in that lease option deal, how do we compensate them? If a property is listed with an agent, who pays the agent commissions? The seller does. So let the seller worry about that and figure that out with the agent. And then if an agent brings you, if you're hiring an agent to find a tenant buyer for your property, then I usually pay them half to 1 month's rent. And I pay them when they find a tenant buyer. So you're just gonna have to find a realtor willing to work with you on a lease option deal like that. And not every realtor is going to want to do that. And if they may want to have the seller sign something, that's fine. Give the seller just something to sign. Steve is saying they've had some snow twice this week. I was on this call with Claude Diamond in Winter Park. He showed us a picture. He has like a foot of snow in his backyard. Do you add that payment to your realtor fees to your fee? Steve, I'm not sure I understand. I'm not paying the agent's commission if it's listed with an agent. The seller's paying that. It comes out of the sale price. Let them worry about that and figure that out. If I'm paying an agent to find me a tenant buyer for one of my houses, I'm going to pay them half to 1 month's rent. So that just comes out of my profit. So I don't see any more information from Rick on this.
No, I don't.
What's going on here? So Rick, let me just say this. If you do get a complaint and you have to, appear before the realtor board, it is scary, but don't freak out. It shouldn't be scary. All right. What's the worst that they can do? They can't send you to jail. They may send you a threatening letter. They may warn you. It's never happened to me. I know people it has happened to. And basically you get a slap on the wrist. You may get a small little fine. You just have to apologize, forget about arguing with them, and say, I'll go ahead and start working on getting your license. They just want you to get your license. It's not a big deal. In my opinion, there's a lot of online brokers now that you can hang your license with online brokers.
Yeah.
Wear your investor hat when you need to, wear your realtor hat when you need to, always disclose that you're an agent.
And normally the problem is that it's just the words. It's very gray area. It's the positioning, and it's just an investment. Always looking for an investment. You cannot go wrong. No one can say anything.
So Rick says, I have a realtor in my LLC now. All right, so that's one thing I did is I had my wife. I told my wife to get. My wife went and got her license. And she, when I would talk to a realtor, I would talk to a realtor as my wife's assistant. So when we needed to do the realtor stuff, we would do it through my wife. The other thing too, on lease options specifically, you can sometimes make more money doing lease options as a realtor than you can as an investor, because you can get 6% commission. So get both sides of the commission, 6%. You could also, as a realtor, it's easier than to go find the buyers first. Find the buyers that have $10,000 to $20,000 to put down, right? Then go find a lease option property for them. And that's going to be easier to do now as the market shifts, right? Just make sure you're working with a broker that lets you keep at least 80, 90% of your commission, preferably 100%, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So 2 more questions and we're done. Sorry. In Indianapolis, I know 2 agents that charge 5 to 6% of the purchase price if they bring you tenant buyer. Is that too high? Yeah. If they're just bringing you tenant buyer, they shouldn't get more than 1 month's rent. It's just the way it is. So Rick is saying, I went to the seller and I told them that I will buy the property or one of my investors will buy it. They talked to their realtor friend and the realtor wanted to list the house.
Well, of course, this is what the list. That's a technique. That's a 101 technique from a realtor to try and say that you're doing it wrong. So the seller signs with them. So in that instance, that's just they're just trying to get the listing. Don't
get me frustrated. I'm so frustrated with realtors. Don't get me started, because it's a cartel is what it is. The realtors have a cartel. They want to have a cartel in the industry. They don't want anybody else to buy or sell properties or as investments or manage rentals without them you paying a realtor commissions and dues. It's just so stupid. It makes me mad. But anyway, it's not worth the argument. It's not worth the fight. You could spend an attorney. Steve said, I've had 2 people tell me that wholesaling is illegal. That's right, illegal. Real estate, investors, wholesalers, lease option guys, what we're doing is illegal, immoral, and fattening. So go do something else. Why are we even here? I'm just kidding. It's not. But you're going to get people that tell you. I've had attorneys tell me, you can't buy properties at 60 cents on the dollar. It's illegal. Really? Says who? Show me the law, the written law where it says I can't buy properties at a big discount. There is none. He just assumed, well, there's no way. If you're going to be willing to trick a seller into selling their property to you at that kind of a discount, it must be a scam. So you get it all. You're just going to get it. Just be expecting it. When you're asking a title company to help you with your deals, if you're asking a realtor or an attorney to help you with your deals, you're going to get that. You're going to get people that tell you it's illegal. You can't do that. Just don't listen to them. Find an attorney that will help you. All right. And always do it above board. Always disclose, get an attorney to help you with your deals. Get a title company to help you with your deals. Hire realtors to market and help you sell your property. So, anyway. All right. We got to go. We are after, Rick, let us know how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Oh, listen, real quick here. Rick, he got $1,000 fine. Oh, shoot. All right, pay the $1,000 fine. And they told him you have 90 days to pay the fine and cease and desist or become a realtor.
Yeah, they just want your money. I mean, I'm not telling you to fight it because you probably just should pay it, but there's been no way.
What state are you in, Rick? Somebody's asking here. Tennessee. Yeah, so this isn't unique to any particular state. And this isn't a new problem either. This has been going on for decades. So it is what it is. Don't let this slow you down. It's easy to get into fear. I know Oklahoma just recently was trying to pass a law saying that you have to have your real estate license to do any wholesaling. Like it was specific to that kind of a language. And people were freaking out in Oklahoma. Well, here's the thing that you got to think about. And we'll end it with this. I'm going to turn the chat off because I'm getting distracted with that. When you are wholesaling and you're making cash offers to buy properties, you have to have the intent and the means to close on the property. All right. You have to have the intent and the means to close on the property. So what we recommend is you double close on all your deals. I recommend that unless you've got a really good relationship with a buyer, a really good relationship with a title company, maybe you can do an assignment, but I always recommend double closing. And sometimes if you work with a creative attorney or a creative real estate title company, you can use the buyer's end, the end buyer's money to fund your purchase and immediately turn around and sell it. So you need to have relationships with hard money lenders, private lenders, banks, good buyers. All right. And find ways to close on the deals. So you should have access to money. And you might just go out and get some business credit cards. So you've got like $50,000, $100,000 in business credit cards lined up. Okay. Then you close on the deal and you turn around and sell the deal. Is it legal? Yes. What's that kind of a question? Yeah, it's legal to buy properties and then turn around and sell them. I was talking one time to the Real Estate Commission in Arizona on the phone with them, and I was with Wendy Patton. And they said, we have no problem if you buy a property and the second later turn around and sell it. We have no problem with that. What we do have a problem with is when you are advertising a property and you make it look like you're getting a commission by placing a buyer and a seller together. That's not what we're doing. So start thinking now about finding private money lenders, partnering with local wholesalers who have access to money, finding hard money. Yes, double closing is very legal. Double closing. Now, there's no problem with double closing at all. Nobody is saying that double closing is illegal. We're telling you that's probably the safest route to wholesale deals. We still do a lot of assignments in Alabama, but we also do some double closings. Yeah. Let me tell you real quick. There's a website, a guy that I'm working with, Lending for Deals. Now things are different now. I'm going to put this in the chat real quick. lendingfordeals.com. If you go to lendingfordeals.com, it's going to redirect to a different website. I'm partnered with a company called Easy Button Lending. Now things have changed in the last few weeks. There's not as many lenders as they don't have as many lenders as they used to have, as many loan programs, but they do lend in all 50 states, all deal types, all credit profiles. They lend on the deal, not on the on your credit, and they'll give you a proof of funds letter. So go check out lendingfordeals.com, see what they have, see what's available now, and they can fund your deals so that you can wholesale, double close, things like that. Use transactional money if you have to, etc. All right, guys, I think that's it. Gavin, we good?
We're good. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you guys. Listen, this is Friday, so we're not meeting again until Monday. Sunday night, Sunday time, sometime frame, we're going to put the scorecard in the Facebook group. And you got to put your numbers in that scorecard. It's going to be a Google form. All right. Put your numbers in there. And we appreciate you guys. Next week, we're going to be meeting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, either me or Gavin or both of us. And we're just going to keep on doing what more we did today. Look at deals, try to help you and teach you what we can. We appreciate you guys. Go make it happen. Don't beat yourself up if you've not made 25 offers this week. But you got this, guys. We want to be here to help you and support you in any way we can. We'll see y'all later.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.